Has your server been behaving badly today? Well, let's see how can we keep track of the performance and activity on our servers. Hello friends, this is Nick from NOB Solutions, and today I'm going to show you how you can monitor your server performance and activity on Windows Server 2012. As we all know, you had problems with the performance on the server, not able to load fast as before, or something crashes and you're not able to find any issues, or you're trying to troubleshoot to find any issues with the server. And most of you know that there are a lot of third-party tools that are provided by vendors and other third-party tools that are paid or free that can help you to determine what's causing the crashes or what's causing the slowness on your server. But I'm going to make a quick overview of what are the built-in tools that Microsoft provide with their Windows Server products that can help us to determine the cause or any issues that can arise in the future. So the first tool that I'm going to take a look of is Task Manager. We all know the Task Manager. It's built in every single Microsoft operating system, and it's really a basic and fast troubleshooting mechanism that you can use, where you can check the processes running on the computer, where you can check the performance, a basic overview of the CPU, memory, and the broadband usage. Of course, there you can check the services if they are running or not, and it's a really simple tool that can help you determine straight away if there is a problem with the CPU bottleneck, for example. The next tool that I'm going to take a look of is the Event Viewer. And if you don't like reading a lot of stuff, well, you have to deal with this, because Event Viewer is a great friend for the administrator. It can provide you very detailed information, and this is, I might recommend it as a straightaway troubleshooting tool if there is a problem with the server. If an application is not able to start, for example, or if you are experiencing any problems with the roles or services, it can log in events in there, and it can show you what exactly is not working, so you can start troubleshooting from there. So you have custom views where you can create your own views and group up different roles and services that you want to monitor and to be accessible really fast. Or you can use the built-in Windows logs, which are present from a lot of time now, and they are really a handy tool where you can find information about the system, the security, or any applications. For example, if you are running a specific application like Exchange, it can log errors there. Or if you have a third-party backup tool or the normal Windows Server backup, it can log in the errors that are received by the application, so you can start your troubleshooting from there. The other tool that I'm going to look into is the Resource Monitor, and this is a more detailed task manager, and it shows a lot of information about the disk, the average queue length of the disk, the CPU usage, the CPU queue length, for example, or any threads, or it's a very detailed, and it can show you or you can find, you can determine any problems that are related to the performance in there as well. The other tool that I'm going to look into is the Server Manager. And Microsoft decided to implement the best practices analyzer, and what they want to achieve with this, with the Server Manager, is to have everything in one place. It does not contain very detailed information like if you are using, for example, Resource Monitor or the Performance Monitor, but it can give you a straightforward overview of your server and what's going on it. And the last tool is a must for system monitoring and reporting, and it's called the Performance Monitor. And if you are working with servers for a lot of time, it has been for in previous Windows servers builds, and it's going hand to hand with troubleshooting problems and trying to resolve problems, because it contains a really detailed information of every single counter that you can get information for, and in there you can perform data collection sets, and you can export reports, so you can have information to provide to the customer, or if you can store them, so you can see how the server is going through the months. For example, at the beginning the server can be really healthy and running fine, but as time goes on, the performance can degrade, and you can detect this in the performance monitor. So let's dig into the demonstration. Now that I'm on my server, I'm going to start by opening the task manager. And you can, the easiest way to open Task Manager, of course, is to right click on the toolbar on the bottom and just right click on it and just open Task Manager. So at first you will see the minimized view of the Task Manager, but if you want more details you can always expand them. And right on the top you can see several tabs, and they are equally important. So the first tab is the Processes tab. In here you will see information about all the processes that are currently running and how much resources every single process is taking from the system. The next tab is the Performance tab, and in here you will find information about the CPU, memory and Ethernet. So you can find out how much of the total amount of CPU is currently used. You can see the utilization, the processes, the threads, handles, and information about your current processor, and of course a really important thing that is overlooked by most administrators, the uptime of the server. So in here you can have this graphical interface overview of and you can determine, for example, if your CPU is at 100% used. Of course you can see this in here as well, and you can sort out and find out what of the current process is taking the CPU. So you can sort them ascending and descending, and you can sort them to memory as well to see what's taking your memory on the server. The Users tab will show you the currently logged users on the server, the terminal users, and it will show information of what every single user, what amount of resources every single user is using on your server, which is really important. For example, if you have an administrator that is currently trying to run an application that is causing spikes and causing 100% usage of the CPU, in here you will be able to quickly find that information and contact that person. And yeah, you know what happens when someone is messing around with your server. So the next is the details. In here you will find more detailed information of every single process. You will see the process ID, and of course if you right click, you will have different settings that are available to you. For example, you can end the task if that task is stuck, for example, and you're not able to close it, and you can end the task. You can set priority to the task or affinity, and you can go to services directly to see, for example, maybe there is a service that is stuck and is causing high CPU usage at the moment, and you will have to find which service or which process is responsible for this. And the last tab is the Services tab. In here, of course, you can sort once again all the services and see which of the services are currently running and which are not. So in here you can start, stop, restart services as well if you want. If you this is the task manager is a really basic and fast way for an administrator to determine if something is going wrong with the system. So this is a thing that shouldn't be overlooked, but unfortunately it is by most people. So right away on the bottom of the performance tab, I will see that I have the resource monitor. You can open resource monitor from here, or if you want you can search it resource monitor, and it should appear straight away, so you can open resource monitor. So I'm going to use the link from task manager, and I'm going to open resource manager and close this. So the resource manager will show you more detailed information of what's the current situation on the system. You will see a lot of details related to every single component, the CPU, all the processes that, and you can sort them to see what process is taking most of the average CPU. You can select columns, and you can add additional columns if you want, usernames, or you can remove the columns that you don't need. For example, if you don't need to see the process ID, you can just remove it, click OK, and it will be gone, so you can have a clear view. So straight away when I closed my task manager, I just want to show you that it terminated the process, and you have information about disk, network, and memory as well. If you click around the tabs, you will see more information about the processes, and which of the processes is taking, or which service is taking most of your CPU at the moment, or memory. And you will see detailed information with a graphical interface of the used physical memory, or the standby memory or free memory that is not used at the moment. Under disk, once again, you will see the available space, the disk queue length, and if there is a disk queue length, for example, if you have a SQL server, you will see, or Exchange server that contains a database, you will see that sometimes this disk queue length can grow up, and this can slow the processing in the database, which can cause slow responses, and most of the users will notice this straight away. So for example, if you are having slow disks installed into the server, and they are not able to spin fast enough for the database to read if the input and output of the database is and if this database is really used, the input and output can be really high, and this can cause disk queue lengths and slowness into the database. So under the network, of course, you have information of what is currently used on and what connects where on which port. So this is really important information to see what's the local port, what's the remote address that is currently used to connect, and from where, and what's the packet loss, if there is any packet loss or any latency. So the resource monitor is again a more detailed tool that can be used, and it's really handy for the administrator to determine what could be causing any slowness into the system. So I'm going to switch to my next tool that I want to show you, which is called Event Viewer. And you can open Event Viewer from the search. And I'm going to close Resource Manager. So the Event Viewer, and what it does, it collects log information about the system and the resources that are, or any errors or any faults that are currently detected into the system, or any applications that will work on your server that are currently installed. So the first thing that I want to show you is the custom views, and in there you have the ability, if you right click, you have the ability to create custom view or import custom views. So in here, if you, for example, have a third-party application that is logging events into different logs, you will, for example, if you know the name of the event, for example in Windows, in System, if you know the number of the event, you can always choose. So for example, net runtime, you can always choose to create a custom view for this event and just to show critical warnings and error logs. So if I click OK and just name it new view, it will straight away pick up information and it will store this information into a single location, so it will be really easy for the administrator to see what's going on with the application that he or she wants to monitor. So the next thing that is really important is the Windows logs. In there you will have grouped up logs of informational events related to applications that are currently running on the server. For example, any third-party backups or Windows Server backup or Microsoft Exchange. We'll log different events in here, informational errors or warnings, so you can try to find them and try to troubleshoot them and start your troubleshooting from here. The other event log that is really important is the system event log. So for example, if you have your system has crashed and you have a blue screen of death, in here you will see information of what happened. You will see that there should be an error saying that a bug check happened, and you will see the code of the bug check, so you can troubleshoot further for you to find the reason of the bug check. And if you double click on any of the events, a small window will open where you have the general and details tab, and this is really detailed information of for example, this is the volume shadow copy service which stopped. So the other thing is the applications and services logs, and in here it can be really granular. So you will see that you have information about most of the services running on the server. For example, the DHCP client, and in here you will see that I have different error messages saying that the computer was not assigned an address from the network by the DHCP server for the card. So the following error occurred, and I can try to find out what is this error and what is causing the error. So you can see that Event Viewer is really a must, that you can find information about the system and what's going on the system. Of course, there are different vendor specific software. For example, if your server is HP or Dell, you have, for HP you have HP System Management homepage, or for Dell you have the Dell Open Manage Server Administrator, and in there you will have different logs and different counters that will monitor the hardware components of your server, and will log errors related to any hardware failing, or for example, if your fan is not working properly, it will detect that and it will log error in there as well. So it's really recommended to have this vendor specific software depending on what make and model of the server you have, and to be installed on the server if it's a physical machine, of course, so you can monitor what's the status of everything. And the next thing that I want to show you is the Server Manager. And so within 2012, the Server Manager contains a grouped up information of most of the things that so you can have a basic overview of what is the general system health. So you have, if you click on local server, you will see that you have events, and in here it will log events for the roles that are currently on the server, so you can have information, you can have this information stored into a single location as well. You have information, let me scroll down, about the services that are currently running, and it's really important to see if all the automatic services are starting. So for example, one of the services is has not started, and you try to start it and it's giving a specific error, and what you can do is open event viewer, for example, and try to find more detailed information what is preventing the service from starting up. And the other tool that is really handy is the best practices analyzer. In here, if you right click on the tasks, you can start a BPA scan, which will take some time, but in the end will show information of what is currently, because it's trying to scan the system, and according to predefined Microsoft counters, it will say what needs improvement or what's okay, and it's basically what the name says, the best practices, and analyzes your system and gives you recommendations what can be improved. And in here, under the best practices analyzer, you will see the performance, and this is a small information about any performance alerts that you can configure. For example, you can configure an alert to show up if your CPU is above 85%, or if the available memory is under 2 megabytes, for example. And this will scan the system and will give you alerts. So the best practice analyzer finished, and you will see that it shows a lot of information, a lot of errors saying that the RAM is in use on this computer is not error correcting, so ECC RAM, which is going to show you what could be improved on your system. And of course, on the bottom, right on the bottom, you will see a window where you have the roles and features that are currently installed on the server. And of course, if you right click on it, you can remove the role or feature if you want, or if you click on tasks, you will be able to add roles and features. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to move on to the performance monitor, which is really a detailed software that can provide a lot of information that you can use for any future reference. So let's try to search for performance monitor. Okay, and the shortcut for performance monitor is perfmon. So let's open this. And this is really, as I said, a really detailed tool, and it's really a must for every single administrator to have a monitoring under for the system, for every single system. But this needs to be a quick note needs to be added here. The performance monitor can take resources as well. So for example, if you decide to schedule a task to run and pick up information about the counters, different counters, for example CPU, disk usage, or even the disk queue length, this can steal, let's say, resources from your applications. So for example, you need to be really careful with the performance monitoring, how you set, if you want to perform regular checks on the system and use the data collection sets that are predefined, for example, or if you have any user-defined data collection sets, I will show them later to you. But it can use the resources on the server, and it can cause further problems for your applications. So the performance monitor is, as I said, is a counter-based monitoring where you have the option to add different counters, and I mean there are a lot of counters that can be added, and depending on what you want to monitor, what you want to achieve with it, it can be really granular. So for example, if you have the memory, you will see that I have different counters for available bytes, or for example, page faults, page writes, page reads. So I can add this. Let's add page writes and page reads. Click OK, and it will add these counters to the system, to the graphical interface, and it will start monitoring them. There is currently no instance that is monitoring this, so let's try with another one. Let's try with, let's see, we can add physical disk, for example. Let me just find the physical disk. Okay, physical disk, and percentage disk read time, percentage idle. So average disk bytes. You can see there is a lot of information in here. So let's add disk writes per second for the C drive. Add this and click OK. And it's a blue line, and you can see that it starts straight away to pick up information about the disk writes per second for my C partition that I have on my server. So the next thing is the data collector sets, and this is really a handy tool that can be used by the administrator to pick up information, and this is a predefined, for example, counters. And if I open the system diagnostics, I will see that I have predefined information about operating system processors and processor and everything that I need, or for example the system performance in general. And if I right click on it, I can click start, and it will start picking up information about the server. And this can run for a specific time. For example, this can run for 10 minutes. And if you decide to run it 24/7, as I said, it can lead to degradation into your performance for your applications. If the server is heavily utilized for a SQL, for example, it's not a good idea to always run this for long periods of time. But it can give you a detailed information if you run it for let's say for a minute or two, and it can run on a specific time every single day, or different into several times during the day, but for smaller intervals. It can give you a basic overview of what's going on with the server. So I'm going to stop this now, and if I open reports, I will see that under system and system performance I have two reports, and I've run the first report earlier so I can check it. But if I open this report, and of course this is really important that you can use this report to store it somewhere, so you can have this information to overview on a later state. And you can see, for example, your server had really high CPU usage, or it has really high CPU usage every Friday evening. But what you see then is, what you determine is that your antivirus system performs a full scan on Friday evening. So it explains why, and why the CPU usage is high on Friday evening, and it can give you information on how to start and resolve this issue. So you can see you have the summary diagnostic results, you have CPU, and you have a lot of information about the CPU usage and what are the processes, the minimum, maximum, and the average. So this is, you can see this is a lot of granular information and can give you a lot of details what's going on your system. So if you want, you can try to create your own data collector set, and predefine with counters that are really important to you and your system, and start monitoring your system from there. So this is the overview and how you can monitor your server performance and activity, and I hope that you'll be able to use this video so you can determine if your system is running properly or if there is a problem that needs to be resolved. And if you like the video, you can always hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you can see when I upload, and you can receive an email when I upload a new video. And if you have any comments, you can always leave them in the comment section below, and if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Once again, this was Nick from NLB Solutions, and thank you very much for viewing.